That's the things that work. You know, the drug czar said the other day at a press conference, and I wish if you're ever at this press conference, because you people are in the news, you would ask the question that I always want to ask. He said that this drug issue in America is fundamentally a healthcare and an educational problem.
Good afternoon. This is Amazon Jude coming to you from Casper in my little war room. I did, like I said yesterday, I did the last of my chemos. I've lost a lot of weight. I feel pretty good. All of my scans that we've been doing to figure out what's going on with my feet have all come back showing, you know, various things. Like my back is showing that I ruptured 2 discs in my lower lumbar, and that's probably what's accounting for a lot of the water retention and my feet hurting all the time and swelling. We thought it was an infection, but it could have been to a degree, but it wasn't, and we thought maybe it was not the blood pressure pill, but the diabetes pill, metformin, and I'd been taking that for a couple of 3 years. But I kind of thought maybe it was that too. So it's probably been a combination of the lower lumbar and a little bit of the diabetes pill, because my diabetes is like running 165 at 100 milligrams of Januvia, but it was like 145 on metformin, and still neither one of those numbers make it that bad to the point where I would have the excruciating pain that I was having in my feet. So anyway, we eliminated that, but like I said, my scans are coming back good. We did an echocardiogram on my heart, and that was after 5 chemo treatments, and I already knew I had a heart murmur and a mitral valve issue, but it's not stenosis, which means it isn't hardening. In fact, my surgeon came back, and after doing what they call the Doppler on my arms and legs, you know, to see the pressure in each 4 of them, there's a sure sign, people, too, that I wanted to tell you the other day. When you're doing your blood pressure check, see if you can do all 4 limbs. Both your arms and both your legs, but use one side as X number here, the same side leg, X number there, and see if they're very close. Like mine was 156 on both leg and arm, which is awesome. And same with the other side. It was a little bit higher, as 158, but that's the side that's had, you know, all the surgery and stress and cut up and, you know, 3rd boobs and all of that. You know, I think I'm enjoying showing you my boobs, you know, that are there. It looks like my brother Donnie, you know, or my dad. It's looking like my dad. And it feels funny, but, you know, it's been funny in another way, too. It's really liberating, you know, to not worry about ever getting breast cancer again in your boobs. And anyway, like I was saying, the scans came back on my back. It showed no cancer there, too. They did look for that while they were doing the MRI to see the vertebrae, and they didn't, nothing lit up. They did die, and nothing lit up, you know, in the red that says that there's cancer there. We did my heart, and nothing showed up there. We did my liver, nothing showed up there. In fact, all the years that I abused my body by being a drunk, hence the beginning part of this video and why I'm doing this video, is on media. And it's on our war on drugs. And I'm going to tell you what it's like to be a cancer patient trying to get the drugs I need to not feel like shit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You know, between the stress of not knowing that once you've done all these chemo treatments and stuff that you're not going to end up dying anyway. What a waste. So I've been really careful with that through this whole thing. Is I don't think I'm going to die. I stay positive as much as I can. I make sure I have a wonderful circle of friends and supporters, which I do. And this weekend, I have a plan for one of my most avid supporters, my daughter-in-law, Candace, who married my son 5.5 years ago. She had 2 kids of her own, and he adopted them and loves them just like they're his. And she has been coming out to my house during this whole 6 months, getting me fed if I need something to cook, washing the clothes, and vacuuming the floors and changing the sheets and doing the grocery shopping. And, you know, I give her money a little bit here and there. And, you know, it's not a whole hell of a lot, but I do appreciate what she does. So don't tell anybody. We made a plan. And what we're going to do is, since my son's going to Sturgis this week, and he'll be up there probably all week, but she's going to take the car up and follow him up and then come back, you know, to get him situated and stuff like a good wife does. And she's going to come back, but she's only going to be gone like 8 hours. And I want to do kind of a makeover of her house inside. It was like yesterday, I went over to pick up my Apple Jacks. I know I'm in love with Apple Jacks. You're going to find some weird things taste good to you during cancer and treatments and stuff. Eat them, because it's hard to find food that tastes good. So if you find something that does taste good, eat it. I love yogurt. I never loved yogurt a day in my life, but I like yogurt. Apple Jacks. I live on cereal. I've lost 38 pounds. I was 252 pounds. I was a walking, talking heart attack on the way. My cholesterol levels were out of whack. My bad LDL was high. My thyroid my thyroid medication made from the chemo went wacky. It went up to 9, you know, which is like a heart attack zone. So we've learned a lot over this. But anyway, so she's going to be only gone 8 hours. And we're going to go in and we're going to do all of her laundry. What I was thinking I was going to do is go in and take all of the laundry to the laundromat and drop it off and tell them I need it back ASAP. And that would take care of the laundry and the waiting and the spinning and drying. And we can get down to washing down the countertops and the bathroom and the washer and dryer and getting the bed sheets changed and vacuuming real good. I want to do this for her doing all that she's done for me. And it was so funny when like I was telling you, I went to go pick up my Apple Jacks. I'm getting chemo brain. I just had it yesterday. So you'll have to, you know, kind of skip around with me. Other chemo people will totally get this, okay? Our loved ones think we've gone insane. But anyway, so I said, oh, well, it was really hot out. I was just done with chemo. I was feeling really, because I get really hyped. It's like an amphetamine after I get my chemo. And then about 4 days later, it's like somebody turned the lights out. You're tired. All you want to do is sleep. Your nose starts getting its bleeds. That's what mine did. I'd get my nose bleed. I might develop a few sores in my mouth. I figured that one out. Salt and warm water and baking soda. Brush your teeth with it every single day, 3 or 4 times a day, and you won't see a mouth sore. Okay? Keep that in mind. Anyways, so where was I? Oh, God, see, chemo brain. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to go in there and wash down her counters and make her feel loved. I want her to feel as loved as she's made me feel loved all of this time. And so we're going to do that Sunday. So wish us luck. Okay, back to the other part of this, the war on drugs. I was when this was first brought up that we're going to go into this, what was it, $65 million or $650 million. I know it's $6.6 billion. I don't know. It was a huge amount of money that we're going to go into this opioid drug try to control. Okay. You're going to think I'm crazy at first, but listen to a quick rendition that I get out of this. Right now, as cancer patients and people who are having seizures and the ripping of the CBD oils off the shelves up in Jackson, Wyoming just today. And that CBD oil, if anybody's done any reading on it at all, it's good for glaucoma. It's good for cancer patients. It hinders the growth of cancer. So it is said. To me, it's a God medicine. You know, it was put on this earth for man to figure out that God gave you the cure for, you know, something that was coming up. And anyway, so they had to take the CBD oil off the shelf. I go to my doctor's yesterday, and since now we know my back is really bad, and that's been a lot of what's going on with my legs and feet, and it affects my attitude. I have to spend a lot of time with my feet hiked up above my head to keep the swelling down. My house is cement floors. That's not any good on my back. I was a bartender for 27 years, and that ruined my back. And I always worked like a man. So I have back problems. I've known this for a long time. And right now I've got cancer thing going on. So I have a double whammy going with me. And I also have an autoimmune deficiency. Okay, I had to have my thyroid taken out because it was giving me too much, well, I was hyperthyroid. And I was going into AFib all the time and having well, one time it was, what, 230 beats over 101 or something. And I had to be shocked back into play. They tried giving me medication to put me back into play. And I tell them now, if that happens, I don't even want to deal with the medicine. You just get them paddles out and give me a wackadoo. Poof! You know, you can see the smoke coming off my body when I wake up, but my heart goes into rhythm. I get my TSA checks, find out it's over with, adjust my medications, and I'm good to rock again. So as somebody who has this, it's called Graves' disease, I go in every 6 months and have my TSH and free T4 checked anyway. I run the best at about 2.1. And it keeps me a little on the hyper side, but I need it because it helps with the rhythm of my heart to stay normal. When it's off, I can feel it go beat, beat, stop, beat, beat, stop, beat, 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 stop. And it's arrhythmia. Okay, so anyway, we're going to clean our house. Or I already told you all that. But anyway, the war on this drug thing. Think about it like this. We addicts, because I was an alcoholic. I smoked a little grass in my life, but I haven't done that in forever. But I do like the CBD oil. It's helped a lot with the cancer as far as pain and appetite, because there's days you just don't want to eat at all, and that's a big issue for cancer patients. It's also a big issue for HIV people too, and I've heard it works for them. I know it works really well for vets and returning soldiers with PSTD. They like the cannabis oil. They like the real thing too. Of course, they're from the 70s. You know, that's when pot was pot and it was good, and four-finger baggies were four-finger baggies, you know. Sorry. But I don't remember anybody killing their wives or beating up their kids or, you know, cooking meth out in the garage. They were smoking grass, sitting around watching the Gong Show and eating popcorn. So anyway, this opioid thing to me can be covered under NA, Narcotics Anonymous. And I'll play a little bit of their talking points and show you a little bit of their video. But that's what NA does. Just like there's AA, there's just like Sexaholic Anonymous, there's Gamblers Anonymous. This can go under the blanket of one of our anonymouses. And all of these organizations are all self-paid. It's all run by donations. It's addicts helping addicts. Now, there's only one clue here, or one really, really important point that needs to be made. And that is, until you are willing to walk through those doors and humble yourself to admit you have a problem, no amount of treatment centers, no amount of laws, jails, prisons, courts, bureaucratic red tape will stop you from being an addict. If that's what you're going to be, that's what you're going to be. And if you want help, it's up to you. Only you can make this decision, not your mother, your brother, your kid, your wife, your church pastor, nobody. This is one of the hardest decisions you will make in your fucking life, is to quit being a drug addict. And you're going to fail sometimes, you know. Nobody expects you to be perfect. Let's see, I think it took me 3 attempts to actually achieve total 100% sobriety. And that was over a course of about 20 years. And I thought about quitting drinking back when I was in my 40s. And here I am, 55, finally off my husband calls it the little brown jug. Finally off the little brown jug. I also know that I was what they call a binge drinker. That's part of this AA is, or NA and AA, is it's a journey of discovery of who you are before you were using drugs, what your problems were, how you dealt with them, that kind of thing. And then as an addict, how did you deal with them then? And the difference in that. And you to understand the choices you made that led you to the path of becoming an addict, whether it be sex, drugs, cars, whatever. If you're an addict to something, you're overdoing it. You're overcompensating for something lacking in your other world. Okay, so here we go, right back. We already have programs. We don't need another set of government bureaucrats deciding the war on drugs. And if you look back, you can remember back in the 1970s, it was Ford who created the war on drugs. And during all of this time, we have found out that the CIA and the FBI were drug runners themselves. Hell, we even found out a former president and his wife were drug runners out of Arkansas. So it's not above, politics to be involved in this. And this is why this can't be played out in the political world. This must remain on a local, state-to-state, non-governmental organization that is addicts helping addicts. I guess that's the best way I can say that. So I'm doing this video because I'm going to send it to President Trump. I'll have to send it through at least a dozen people, and hopefully it'll make it through to one of them, Don Jr. or Ivanka or Kellyanne or Sarah, somebody. I know Hannity picked me up today, so I might even just go ahead and send it to Hannity himself and see if he can pick anything out of this to get the pulse of the average American person out here in Wyoming and what we think of the war on drugs and the chance that it's being put into just another set of bureaucratic red tapers who know nothing about addiction. They have no clue on it, and I'll bet you dimes to donuts there won't be a single member from an AANA sitting in the room when they make these new laws. So, my point. I think that if you're going to invest this kind of money into this new bureaucrat, I would much rather see the money be turned over to our NAs and AAs all across America. Write them all a check. Have them divvy up a check of all that money. I'll bet you will see more people go and attend these places than to go sit in some institution and have to be broken on addiction while you've got 20 people around you watching your every move. It just doesn't work. It's a failure. It's been a failure. Or trying to kick a habit in prison when you're going through the shakes. It doesn't work. It's failed for 30 years. 70, 80, 90, 2000. Yeah, 30 years. It's failure. So I'm pleading to the American people, let's look at this opioid money and the program one more time. And let's think about maybe perhaps keeping it into the local hands of actual addicts that have recovered, that can help other addicts recover in a natural, safe, and friendly environment. Welcoming. I mean, there's not one of us that are going to point at each other and go, you're an addict. You know, because every finger pointing at someone, there's three pointing back at you. You're an addict too. So, and if you got yourself clean, it was from someone else who helped you get yourself clean, another addict. There's the reinforcement that people need when they quit doing drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling. You've got to be on an even level field with somebody who's been there. And that's what they're called, is sponsors. And we have meetings all over the country every single day from 8 o'clock in the morning. Some start as early as 6 o'clock in the morning. And you can go to a meeting as late as 9 o'clock at night. Sometimes they have midnight vigils. So there is no reason that you can't wander around to these various NAs and find a room that you feel welcome in, that you can be yourself in, that you can, you know, if you feel the need to cry, you're not going to be embarrassed because you know Jim over there. You know his wife left him because he was doing crack on the coffee room table when the kids came home. They're no better than you, and you're no better than them. You're on an equal keel. So I want to see the money that's going into this red tape bureaucratic bullshit go to actual programs that work. And NA is one of them. And AA was mine, but I did go to NAs too because I really liked them because it was an umbrella and it covered it all. Narcotics Anonymous. That means alcohol, booze, or alcohol, pot, heroin, cocaine, hashish. You name a type of drug that's over abused, and NA covers it. And they're a strong organization. What is there, over 2 million now across the country? I'd say that's 2 million chances for an addict to get clean or to get help. Even in my little town, we have, you know, population 55,000. But there's a meeting any night I want to go to any one of them. So my solution, and I'll let you hear from this Peter Chris. He's a law enforcement officer, and he was on Demolish War on Drugs, retired police captain. He's going to tell you a little bit too. I'm going to put him on with a photo of him in some of the literature for NA and AA. But the point is I'd rather see this money go to actual working facilities, and I guess you wouldn't call it facilities, because you can even have NAs and AA meetings in prisons, and there should be money for that. I know that when, you know, the funny thing is I could tell you a story about this one gal that I was locked up. Of course, I've had DUIs for that. Hence AA. And I haven't had a DUI in 7 years, knock on wood. So anyway, in prison, this gal, she was cool. She was this big Samoan chick. Not prison, county jail. I had 280 days down in Green River for kicking the windshield out of a highway patrol car. Yes, I was drunk. 280 days. Anyway, there was this gal. She was Samoan. She was big. She was huge. She was fun. You know, she was alive. And when I first got there, I didn't realize, but she was lesbian. This was like my first time around a lesbian. You can tell how long ago this has been now, 30 years, right? But anyway, I didn't know she was a lesbian, and the gal that was above her was, you know, her lover. They got locked up together. I think it was, they got caught dealing some pot or some shit. Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 ounces. So they got 6 months, and but they were both cool, right? But I'm being all snarky because I'm still drunk from being put in jail and crying, and no shit's gonna go bad in the courtroom because of kicking the windshield out. But anyway, so I go over to the mirror and I start brushing my teeth, and you get that look on your face. You can tell when you've been drinking all night. Your face is all fat and puffy. Your makeup is just drained all over your face, and you know your hair is glued to one side because chances are you puked in your hair at some point. What a horrible way to live, guys. That's alcoholism. It loves you till it loves you no more. I made this stupid ass remark. I said, oh no, I'm locked up with lesbians. And she walks over, well, should I say, she was as big as a watermelon, man. She chunks over to me and she says, hi, I'm Teresa. I said, hi, I'm Judy Jones. Nice to meet you. I hope you didn't take me serious. Would you like me to roll you some cigarettes? And she busted up laughing. She was so amazed that I didn't try to hide it. Didn't try to protect that nasty remark. Didn't try, you know, nothing. I just ponied right back up and said, basically, I'm wrong. How can I make it up to you? And to this day, 30 years later, I still get a Christmas card from her and Lisa. It was Lisa and Teresa. Hi, you guys, if you ever see this. I don't know where you landed, if you went back to New Mexico or Arizona, but I think you remember me, don't you? Yeah, my hair was pasted to the side of my face when I came in the jail cell. But anyway, that's the kind of thing that helps addicts, is we find each other in jail. And that's why these programs that go into jails and prisons and stuff, because even there, during my stay those days, I went to every NA or AA meeting that they were having. And we were lucky enough to have one a week. So, I mean, we went in there. Eventually, repetition and repeat change in behavior works, especially when you're among peers that are just as equal as you are. I mean, they fuck up too. You fucked up, they fucked up. You're in there, and if you happen to learn something, you take it home and use it, throw it in your toolbox, and maybe next time you won't end up with your hair pasted up on your face because you were drunk driving. Maybe it's 4 years before it happens again. Maybe it's 10 years. Maybe it never happens again. Maybe that meeting right there was the one that said, you know what, I'm tired of being a fucking drunk and not having any money and risking my life driving home, risking someone else's life driving home just because I was too lazy to stay at home and be a drunk, okay? Or get my life put into place the way it should be and quit whining about it and being a drunk because I'm whining about it. You know, realization comes real fast, because you know who's going to call you out on your bullshit? That man sitting next to you, that woman sitting next to you, because she knows you're saying exactly what she said till she figured out that she was full of shit too. So there are my 101 reasons why we need to disband this bureaucratic bullshit of an opioid board / paying someone's wife to do something in administration fees. That's where all that money's going to go. Why not give it directly to the sources that can use it the most? These little rooms could use some new chairs, new coffee makers, more literature, expand the meeting days and hours, hold rallies to gather in other addicts to get help. That's where this needs to go, not wrapped up into some bureaucratic bullshit room in the back of some Capitol building and dies in a few months after the money's been gone, when it needs more money and nobody can explain where the money went. We'll tell you where the money went. In fact, we'll show you where the money went. We'll show you a room that had 10 people in it now have 50, and they're all working the program, and they're all getting their lives back together. We need people to be able to work again, and we need to get them sober, and we need to get them back in the working market. And what better way to do it than your average 1 hour meeting 4 or 5 times a week with other people who have to do the same thing and won't be judging you. So anyway, there's my plea to America. What do you think? I think that's where the money should go, is into the NAs and AAs and Gamblers Anonymous and all of these little. I want to do the treatment programs first, NA and AA. Okay, I think they should get the bulk of the money. They can distribute it down to their, Gamblings Anonymous and that kind of stuff, because they too could deserve the money too. But we need to get the major amount of monies into the NAs and AAs. Like we're self-sufficient. We live by donations and raising funds with our banquets and buying the chips to give to you guys to make you stay powerful within yourself. And I remember the look on my face when I picked up my first 5-year chip. I mean, the first 30-day one was the most exciting. It's like the first drug. My first chip was like my first drug. And I've been trying to achieve that high ever since. And I think the next time that it felt kind of close to it was year 5. And then year 10. 10, that was nothing. You're not even there anymore. Now you're back into giving back to your group members. You're sponsoring people. You're helping them get their own soul searching done, their lives together. Tell me some bureaucrat's going to do that, or some shrink sitting in, like our place, Wyoming Behavioral Institute. Those people don't know shit. Until you're an addict, you can't even just figure out what an addict thinks. So anyway, this is my video tonight. I think I'm going to call it Bureaucrats or NA. So anyway, peace out, brothers and sisters. I feel pretty good. Like I said, this is day 2 after chemo. I won't crash for 2 more days, but that's Sunday will be about right. That's why I figure we'll go clean my daughter-in-law's house for her on Sunday. I'll get a pizza and leave that for Donnie Ray and Mason, and then maybe take all the laundry to a laundromat and let them just do it all up at once instead of trying to put it through the washing machine. Or I could bring some out here too, you know, and keep 2 washers running. But anyway, that's the point of today. And media, I got news for you, Jim Acosta. You know, this one's for you. The one finger salute. When you started bashing Sarah and Kellyanne and Haley or Hallie and the girls, you became a bitch. You are a male bitch, is what you are. You know, you bash Jeannie. You bash, God, what woman in Trump's cabinet haven't you not bashed? You're a jealous bitch. You're like, where's your manties? You should be wearing a pair of manties, you know? So anyway, I'll have to put explicit content on this one. But Jim, shame on you. Shame on CNN. Shame on a lot of you guys out there that are taking these stories and spinning your own thing out of it, trying to grab ratings. Well, you know what? Where I get my news from? Talk radio and my normal set of people out here in the internet world. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch MSNBC unless they shove it up my ass in some clip that I'm trying to watch, and it just gets thrown in there just to, you know, stir up the shit pot. I always thought the one that stirs the shit with the spoon have to lick it, you know. But anyway, that's tonight, February 3rd, or I mean August 3rd, 7:35 p.m. Mountain time. And I think I'll get this loaded and give you guys some juicy interviews with people who think the same way I do. Peace out.